Having a rare disease can be quite lonely. Northfield Center Township resident Lynne Corwin knows that firsthand. She was diagnosed with a rare form of a chronic inflammatory disease known as vasculitis in 2008. A year later, Lynne started a local support group and has gone on to do public speaking across the country for the Vasculitis Foundation. She joins us today to shed some light on this condition and talk about how she has managed this challenge in her life. Welcome to the program, Lynne.
Thank you, Karen.
Well, first off, I really haven't ever heard of vasculitis. Can you share with our audience what this condition is and how it manifests itself in the body?
Vasculitis is an autoimmune disease. It is inflammation of the blood vessels, veins, arteries, capillaries, that carry the blood to different organs and keep them supplied. The vessels get inflamed, and if we don't get some kind of treatment for it, the organs eventually die. Vasculitis is a family of diseases. There's about 15 different kinds of vasculitis. All of it is rare. It's a very rare disease. Many doctors have never heard of it. Emergency rooms have never heard of it. Most people have never heard of it.
Can it affect anyone, or is there a genetic link?
I've never heard of a genetic link. I don't know of a family where two people would have vasculitis. So I don't know anything about a genetic link. It can affect anyone. There are some very young people that get vasculitis and some very old people that get it. Most of the people I know fall in the 30 to 70 category.
Now, you had told me that you used to work in the medical field and you were
Yes.
a medical transcriptionist, and I have a cousin that does that, so she's always telling me about these unique things she hears
Yes,
about.
yes.
Had you ever come across this in your
Never.
line of work?
Never heard of the word vasculitis, and neither have most people. That's been a big problem with getting vasculitis diagnosed, which is the reason people go so long, sometimes years, without being diagnosed. They get sicker and sicker and sicker, and no one knows what they have.
What are the symptoms?
Varied symptoms. That's the problem with diagnosing it. I myself had a cough that lasted for years. I was sent to all kinds of specialists. Nobody could figure out anything. They just figured, well, she has asthma, and they're treating me just for asthma. And I'm feeling like I have the flu every day. I was extremely tired. I was short of breath, but my lungs were okay, my heart was okay, my legs got weak. I just knew something was terribly wrong with me. But there are varied symptoms, and there's no definitive test for vasculitis like there is for diabetes. It's a constellation of symptoms, and the medical people have to be smart enough to work this out, put the puzzle together.
Are we seeing more cases of this over the years since you've been involved with the Vasculitis Foundation?
It's hard to say. I certainly keep hearing of more and more cases. I hear from people all over the world who are recently diagnosed with vasculitis and want to know a little bit more about the disease. I don't know if it's more common than it was before, but it's very rare.
What about the treatment? Can it be cured, or how is it managed if it can't be cured?
There is no cure, period. And without treatment, people just gradually will die a quicker death than they otherwise might. It's treated with prednisone. That's the gold standard of treatment, which wreaks a lot of havoc on your body. Prednisone has a lot of bad side effects, but it saves you. It takes care of that inflammation in your blood vessels. And also, most people take some kind of oral chemotherapy, which compromises your immune system. So you have to take a lot of medication to counteract all the medication that you're taking, and see a lot of doctors.
Are you feeling better since you got diagnosed?
Oh, yes. Yes, I was quite sick when I was diagnosed. In the past 4 months before I was diagnosed, I was in the hospital 5 days each month. They filled me full of prednisone, sent me home, and once again I got sicker and sicker. So finally, the fourth time, I was at death's door when I got there. I was so sick. And they said, we're going to keep you here till we diagnose you. And they did every test known to man. And they finally diagnosed me. And I got to a rheumatologist, which is your gatekeeper for this disease, is rheumatology. And I've gotten better ever since.
How has this changed your life in maybe some spiritual ways, some personal growth?
having a disease like this that is not going to go away no matter what I do, and I'm going to have some very unhappy physical side effects that I just had to accept. I don't have any choice about that. I'm certainly more compassionate and kind than I used to be, and more understanding of people that are sick and don't look it. Most people with vasculitis, like me, they look perfectly healthy and they act healthy. You can't see it like you can see a broken leg. You can't see this disease. It does its damage inside. And there's a lot of fatigue. That's the number one problem people complain about. That's why I can't hold down a full-time job anymore. I'm too tired to work 8 hours. I have to nap several times a day. A lot of people don't understand that because I look healthy.
What about the support group? You just jumped in and said there's not one here, so I'm going to start it. Did that help your spirit at all?
Oh, yes. I talked to the Vasculitis Foundation, and I said, where can I find out more about this disease? I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. Most of it is quite scary. They say there's no cure, and if you don't take the right medications, you're going to die from this disease. I want to know where I could get some good information. And they sent me some, and I said, is there anybody around I can talk to? That's how it got started. They said, well, no, but if you want to start a group in the Cleveland-Akron area, we'll help you do that. And they did, and I did. And I get more out of this group than I ever got in anything else I've ever done. And there's very few places where you will be able to gather 25 or 30 people that have vasculitis, and they're all in the same room, and we all understand each other. It's a unique thing for people with vasculitis.
And your mission is to get the word out to someone out there who might be suffering and not know they have vasculitis.
That is one of my missions. Another one of my missions is to bring awareness to doctors, first responders like EMTs, nurses, emergency rooms, internists, people that run in to us with a whole lot of symptoms and they have no idea what's wrong with us. But vasculitis isn't even on their note card.
How can people reach you if they want more information?
They can contact the Vasculitis Foundation, which is vasculitisfoundation.org.
And your local support group, can you tell us where they meet in our area?
We meet at Northfield Center Town Hall, which is on Brandywine near 82 and Old 8 Road. We used to meet 3 times a year. We now meet 3 times a year. We used to meet 4 times a year. We always have a medical speaker, someone in the field who can talk to us about vasculitis and about the problems that we're all having. We talk to each other. Some people have been in the group the whole 6 years that it's been going on. We always get new people and we welcome them in and introduce them. They never met anybody with vasculitis.
Well, thank you so much, Lynne. We really appreciate that information and sharing your story with us.
Thanks for the opportunity.